Have a nice time, Todd. Today, let us study some more results related to congruence. Here the theorem says, if CA congruent to CB mod n, then A congruent to B mod n by D, where D is the GCD of C and n. Consider the congruence 33 congruent to 15 mod 9. This means that 33 minus 15 equal to 18, which is a multiple of 9. Here 33 equal to 3 into 11, which is congruent to 3 into 5 mod 9. Is it possible to cancel this 3 and can we write 11 congruent to 5 mod 9? It is not true because 11 minus 5 is 6, which is not a multiple of 9. Here the theorem says that if CA congruent to CB mod n, like here 3 into 11 congruent to 3 into 5 mod 9, then A congruent to B mod n by D. That is 11 is congruent to 5 mod 9 by D. And what's a D here? It is a GCD of C and n. C is here 3, that is a common factor, and n is 9. And the GCD of 3 and 9 equal to 3, which is the greatest common divisor of 3 and 9. So we can write this congruence as 11 congruent to 5 mod 9 by 3, that is 3. And it is actually correct because 11 minus 5 is equal to 6, which is a multiple of 3. That is a statement of the theorem here. If CA congruent to CB mod n, then A congruent to B mod n by D, where D is the GCD of C and n. So let us prove the theorem. So we are assuming the hypothesis that CA congruent to CB mod n. It means that CA minus CB is a multiple of n. So let CA minus CB equal to k into n for some integer k. So that is C into A minus B equal to k into n. Now we are given that D equal to GCD of C and n. Therefore, D divides C and D divides n. Or otherwise, we can write C equal to a multiple of D, that is C equal to D into R, and n equal to again a multiple of D, that is D into S, where we can choose this integers R and S as relatively prime. Here, D is the greatest common divisor of C and n. Therefore, R and S have no other common divisors other than 1. So, these two integers are relatively prime integers. The greatest common divisor of these two integers equal to 1. So, let us substitute the expression for C and n in equation 1. We have dr into A minus B equal to k into ds. We can cancel d from both sides of this equation and we can write r into A minus B equal to ks. Now by Euclid's lemma we have if A divides B into C and GCD of A and B equal to 1, then A divides C. So we are applying this lemma here. Here R into A minus B is a multiple of S. In other words, S divides R into A minus B. And here we have GCD of R and S equal to 1. So these two implies that by Euclid's lemma we have S divides A minus B. S divides A minus B means A is congruent to B mod S. And what is S? S is equal to n by D. So we have A is congruent to B mod n by D. Hence we have if CA congruent to CB mod n, then A congruent to B mod n by D, where D is the GCD of C and n. Now we have a corollary. If CA congruent to CB mod n and GCD of C and n equal to 1, then in that case A congruent to B mod n. It is straightforward from the previous theorem. In the previous theorem it says that if CA congruent to CB mod n and GCD of Cn equal to D, then A congruent to B mod n by D. Here D equal to 1. So we have this result. How can we apply this result? For example, consider minus 35 is congruent to 45 mod 8. So here we can write minus 35 as 5 into minus 7, which is congruent to 5 into 9 mod 8. So here we can see that GCD of 5 and 8 equal to 1. The greatest common divisor of 5 and 8 equal to 1. So we can cancel 5 from this congruence and we can write minus 7 is congruent to 9 mod 8. Actually it is true because minus 7 minus 9, which is equal to minus 16, which is a multiple of 8. Thus if CA congruent to CB mod n and GCD of C and n equal to 1, in that case we can write A congruent to B mod n. Now let us have a problem solving time. Suppose we have to find the remainder obtained when the sum 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus 3 factorial plus etc. plus 99 factorial plus 100 factorial is divided by 12. So let us take each of the terms in this sum. So we have 1 factorial is equal to 1, which is congruent to 1 mod 12. Because 1 minus 1 is 0, which is a multiple of 12. Likewise 2 factorial is 2, which is congruent to 2 mod 12. 3 factorial equal to 6, which is congruent to 6 mod 12. And 4 factorial equal to 24, which is congruent to 0 mod 12. Because 24 is a multiple of 12. And after that, and if we consider any integer greater than 4, k factorial can be written as 4 factorial into 5 into 6 into etc. into k. So actually this will be congruent to 0 mod 12 always, because 4 factorial is a multiple of 12, therefore the whole product is a multiple of 12, so it is congruent to 0 mod 12. Now we will use the basic property of congruences. If A congruent to B mod n and C congruent to D mod n, then we can write A plus C is congruent to B plus D mod n. So we can add the left hand sides of this inequality and will be congruent to the sum of the right hand side. So we can write 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus etc. plus 100 factorial is congruent to 1 plus 2 plus 6 mod 12, or this is congruent to 9 mod 12. So the remainder obtained when the sum 1 factorial plus 2 factorial plus etc. plus 100 factorial is divided by 12 is 9. Next problem, show that 7 divides 5 raised to 2n plus 3 into 2 raised to 5n minus 2 where n greater than or equal to 1. We will use mathematical induction to show the result. So we will prove the result for n equal to 1 first. So let n equal to 1. Then 5 raised to 2n plus 3 into 2 raised to 5n minus 2 equals 5 raised to 2 into 1, that is 5 square, plus 3 into 2 raised to 5 minus 2, that is 3. That is 25 plus 24, which is equal to 49. And clearly 7 divides 49. So the result is true for n equal to 1. Now to use the induction hypothesis, we assume that the result is true for n equal to k, and we will prove the case for n equal to k plus 1. Now let n equal to k plus 1. Here our assumption is actually 7 divides 5 raised to 2k plus 3 into 2 raised to 5n minus 2. Now let n equal to k plus 1. We have to prove the case for n equal to k plus 1. So we consider 5 raised to 2 into k plus 1 plus 3 into 2 raised to 5 into k plus 1 minus 2. So this is equal to 5 raised to 2k plus 2 plus 3 into 2 raised to 5k plus 5 minus 2, that is plus 3. Or we can write 5 raised to 2k into 5 square plus 3 into 2 raised to 5k plus 3. We write it in such a way that the first term involves 5 raised to 2k. Here also in our assumption we have 7 divides 5 raised to 2k plus 3 into 2 raised to 5n minus 2. We have to arrange this term as a multiple of this expression. So we can write it as this equal to, here 5 square we have to take an outside the bracket. So we will write 5 square into 5 raised to 2k. Then the first term becomes okay. This is 5 raised to 2k into 5 square. Then we will write this expression exactly like this here. So we have 5 raised to 2k plus 3 into 2 raised to 5n minus 2. Here the first term here is okay now, that is 5 raised to 2k into 5 square, that is here. But the term 3 into 2 raised to 5k plus 3 is not appearing here directly. So we add that term, that is 3 into 2 raised to 5k plus 3. Now here there is an additional term 5 square into 3 into 2 raised to 5k minus 2. So we have to subtract that term to maintain the equality. So we have 5 square into 3 into 2 raised to 5k minus 2. Now the expression in this first term 5 raised to 2k plus 3 into 2 raised to 5k minus 2 is a multiple of 7 because 7 divides this expression is our assumption. So we can write this equal to 5 square into a multiple of 7 plus, now we have to consider the remaining terms. So here we have 2 raised to 5k plus 3 and here 2 raised to 5k minus 2. The smallest term is 2 raised to 5k minus 2. So we take 2 raised to 5k minus 2 as the common factor of these two terms. Again we have 3 as a common factor. So we can write into 3 into, now we have 5k plus 3 minus 5k minus 2. It is 5k minus 5k cancels, 3 minus minus 2 is 5. So here we have 2 raised to 5 minus 5 raised to 2. So actually this is equal to 5 square into a multiple of 7 plus 3 into 2 raised to 5k minus 2 into 2 raised to 5 is 32 and 5 square is 25. So the difference is 7. So we have into 7. So we have this expression becomes a multiple of 7. So we may write the whole expression is a multiple of 7. Because in the first expression it is a multiple of 7. In the second expression also is a multiple of 7. So the sum is again a multiple of 7. So we can say that 7 divides the LHS. Or the result is true for n equal to k plus 1. So by induction procedure the result is true for all n greater than or equal to 1. Let us do a similar problem. Show that 13 divides 3 raised to n plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2n plus 1. So first we will show the case when n equal to 1. When n equal to 1, 3 raised to n plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2n plus 1 equal to 3 cube plus 4 raised to 3. That's equal to 27 plus 64 equals 91. Which is a multiple of 13 because 13 into 7 equal to 91. So the result is true for n equal to 1. Now to use the induction assumption, we assume that the result is true for n equal to k. That is, we assume that 13 divides 3 raised to k plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1. Now we have to prove the case for n equal to k plus 1. So let n equal to k plus 1. And we consider the case when n equal to k plus 1. For that we take 3 raised to k plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2 into k plus 1 plus 1. And we have to show that this is a multiple of 13. Now this equals 3 raised to k plus 3 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 2 plus 1, that is plus 3. Now we have to express the first term 3 raised to k plus 3 here as a multiple of 3 raised to k plus 2. For that we can write 3 raised to k plus 3 equal to 3 into 3 raised to k plus 2. Now the second term is writing as such, that is 4 raised to 2k plus 3. We have to use this result, that is 3 raised to k plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1 is a multiple of 13. So we will write this expression as this equal to 3 into 3 raised to k plus 2. Now before writing this term, we are completing the expression here. Here we have 3 raised to k plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1. So we write exactly that here. So we have 3 raised to k plus 2 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1. And we are closing the bracket. Now we are trying to equate these two expressions. First term is okay, 3 raised to k plus 2 into 3, that is here also. And second term here is 4 raised to 2k plus 3. That is not appearing directly here. So we add that term here, 4 raised to 2k plus 3. Now when we try to equate these two expressions, we can see that 3 into 4 raised to 2k plus 1 is excess here. So we have to subtract that term, that is minus 3 into 4 raised to 2k plus 1. Now you can use this result. 3 raised to k plus 2 in plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1 is a multiple of 13. So we can write 3 into a multiple of 13. Now here we can see that there are 4 raised to 2k plus 3 and 4 raised to 2k plus 1. The smallest is 4 raised to 2k plus 1. So we take it as a common factor. So we have plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1 into here 4 raised to 2k plus 3. So we have 4 raised to, when we divide 4 raised to 2k plus 3 by 4 raised to 2k plus 1, it becomes 4 square. So here we have 4 square minus 3. So this is 3 into a multiple of 13 plus 4 raised to 2k plus 1 into 4 square is 16. 16 minus 3 is again 13. So again we have 3 into a multiple of 13. Again a multiple of 13. So the whole expression is a multiple of 13. So we can conclude that the LHS is a multiple of 13, or in other words 13 divides the LHS. So the result is true for n equal to k plus 1. So by induction procedure it is true for all n greater than or equal to 1.